Hello and welcome. Our top focus is on Mozambique, where political violence has returned to the capital, Maputo. Mozambican police opened fire on hundreds of supporters who had gathered for a march led by opposition leader Venancio Mondlane. Mondlane was rallying as part of a nationwide tour to promote his new political party. The march was live-streamed on his social media. In the footage that has been captured, Mondlane was seen standing out of the sunroof of a car moving down a street, surrounded by a crowd of people cheering and singing. It was then when gunshots erupted suddenly as the march neared an armored vehicle. The crowd then dispersed in panic. The cameraman broadcasting the live stream fell down. His face was seen covered in blood. At least 16 people have been injured in the firing. Witnesses say police, armed to the teeth, started shooting in an ambush kind of scenario. Meanwhile, Mondlane's team says that his whereabouts were not known after police broke up the march. These clashes came just hours after President Daniel Chapo signed an agreement with some political parties and excluded Mondlane. The talks were aimed at ending months of protests over Chapo's disputed election victory last year. The protests that started last year were led by his rival Mondlane, who was declared second in the October presidential poll results. Now, Daniel Chapo's victory extended the Frelimo party's almost 50 years of rule. However, Mondlane called himself the true winner. He went into hiding and mobilized weeks of protests against the poll results, in which more than 320 people were killed in the violence that lasted until early January. But after his return, just ahead of Daniel Chapo's inauguration as the new president, Mondlane split with the Podemos party that had supported his presidential candidacy. He has now launched a new party called the National Alliance for an Autonomous and Free Mozambique. It is nicknamed Anamalala, which means "it's over," one of the slogans of the protests. After returning to Maputo, Mondlane has expressed intention to work with the government and offered to join it. However, his exclusion by President Chapo from the Peace and Stability Agreement and the crackdown on his rally shows the political trouble in Mozambique is far from over. Now, to discuss more on this, we have Mozambique's political violence analyst, a political analyst, Wilke Diaz, who is joining us live from Maputo, Mozambique. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you so much.
Wilke, what does the police crackdown on Venancio Mondlane's supporters in Maputo indicate about the current political climate in Mozambique, especially in the context of President Chapo's disputed election victory?
So I think the police attitude is very unnecessary for that time. I think the position of the police, the most part of the time during the different type of manifestation or demonstrations, we see when police are shooting the people without any weapon. So it's very dangerous if you look for the human rights, because that people or make that demonstration. A demonstration in Mozambique, it's one legal right. So I don't know why the police are shooting that people. The Minister of the Interior here in Mozambique said, we shoot the people, maybe he coming here, or maybe you found one way to interrupt the agreement ceremony today. But that is not true, because the boss of that people are moving from the city to the other neighborhoods in Maputo, mostly in the interior, not for the city in particular. So we don't know what is the reason of the police shooting that people. I think it's very unnecessary for now, and that type of the things turn that situation very, very worse if you compare the last days.
Right. And Wilke, how significant is the agreement that was signed by President Chapo with some of the political parties in terms of quelling the unrest? And why do key opposition figures like Mondlane and his supporters seem to reject this move?
So in the first position, it's very important to set that agreement. It's important for our democracy. We can have one chance to make some reforms, but it's very important to set. It's also important to including the impartial members of the different sectors in Mozambique in that commissions. If we have impartial people inside of that commission, maybe we can have some success to find really proposals to change the actual situation in Mozambique in the law. But if you look, for example, to the security sector or the social, political, economical sector right now, for now, it's not possible to have any change without Venancio Mondlane. That is my position, because Venancio Mondlane, it's the very important key to try to change that position. It's not only Venancio Mondlane, also Daniel Chapo. That two persons are very important. In one side, Venancio Mondlane have a power to put a calm that people in the different areas in Mozambique. In the other part, Daniel Chapo have a key to try to push Venancio Mondlane to the table, sit, make some conversation, and after that make some positions to go to the people's side and make it created the good conditions for the first time in that governance. So that is the question, why Venancio Mondlane is not here. And the people who support Venancio Mondlane said the most part of the time he not agree with that parties or put the left that important actor. But for me, that the both actor or the both principal candidates are very important for that all conversation.
Right. And with that, with Mondlane's whereabouts currently unknown, what are the potential implications for Mozambique's political stability and, of course, the possibility of further violence or even international intervention?
So I said, well, like I said in the past, it's very important to find one way to solve not only in the law sector, but in the political sector. It's very important to have that stability to fund success in our on this agreement that the parties are signing yesterday. So if we don't have Venancio, we don't have other actors inside of that process, maybe we can sow one dangerous thing during this whole process. And for me, maybe it's the time to the international community continue to condemn that type of attacks, because it's a really violation. If you compare Mozambique like other countries, we don't have any difference. But in particular here, we have all proofs, we have videos, we have photos, but we don't see, for example, one strong position with the most powerful countries around the world. The most part of that country said, yes, we are waiting, we are see what's happening, and maybe we can sit and see what we can do in the future. But maybe we are waiting for the future, but in the present we have persons are dead right now. So it's very important to find one solution, and the international community have that responsibility. Okay, we have a sovereignty and that cetera, but it's very important to take some action, because we are lost. We will lose persons all days in our country, so it's very dangerous. You can circulate on the street because the people are blocked the streets. We don't go to the infrastructure because the people put a fire on that side. So that is very important to find one solution now. And I think the international community have that responsibility to find that solution together to help Mozambique government and the other actors to find the stability in our country.
Right. Wilke, it's always great to have you on the show. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Merci beaucoup. Hi, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Namaste, Mr. President.
Bharat Kelogan, Komeri Namaste.
How many people generally follow you in interviews?
Typically in a month, we have viewers up to 150 million. That's more than twice the population of France. And in the last 2 years, we had 3 billion viewers. So I say, Laurent, this is your chance to be famous. You're on Firstpost. One word to describe your equation with Prime Minister Modi.
Amitié.
As India and France work together, are you creating a new era of non-alignment in the technology space?
India is a training superpower. 1 million engineers a year, more than all of Europe and the US combined. So we have that partnership. We have a partnership on the environment and the economy. We also have civilian nuclear programs, and that is something we've developed far beyond the France-India relationship. So we want to work together on AI.
And then comes China with its DeepSeek, creating models at a fraction of the cost. Did that innovation take you by surprise? Did that breakthrough make you sit up and think, what did the Chinese do and how?
But what did DeepSeek do? They took everything that was already available from the last AI model, and then they recalibrated it.
So are you going to ban Chinese AI in France?
So we don't have this American approach of banning tech because of where it comes from.